thank you so much. We are going to get back into talking about the Lions. Going to get a little more deep into this Seattle matchup. So I'm going to phrase a question to you guys. We know there's a lot of injuries for the Seattle Seahawks. We know the Lions are coming off a dare I say, historic victory, a big victory, a big season opening win against the Kansas City Chiefs. But it's a new game against the Seattle Seahawks, who laid an egg in their first game. Who'd they lose to again? The Seahawks lost to the Rams.
The
Rams. They got basically blown out. They got embarrassed, I should say. Who do you think on our team, and we're going to start on the offensive side of the ball.
All right.
Who do you think is going to make the most impact? What offensive player is going to make the most impact for the Detroit Lions versus the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday? Booner.
So I already know who yours is.
So?
And in the prep, we both had the same exact one.
That's all right.
So I came up with a second one. So it's not my number one.
You're so kind.
But I'll let you have the floor for yours. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the most impactful, important player that will be on the field on this offense on Sunday. Jared freaking Goff.
Oh, quarterback.
It has to be. I've talked about it. If you've been watching our show the last few nights, you know I've already mentioned before that when Jared Goff is just solid and he just goes and play his game, we do have a segment about him today, and you'll see some stats. When he's just solid and he's not losing you a game, he's not turning the ball over, losing games, he is the most important player because you need him to be the heart of that offense. I know you have weapons like Amon-Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones. You have these weapons, but if Jared Goff isn't on his A game in any game, you have a chance to lose that game.
He's the engine.
Yes, 100%. And you saw it versus the Chiefs where, yes, that offense only scored 14 points. They were on the road versus one of the best defenses in the league, even though they didn't have Chris Jones, one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. Jared Goff found ways. When it was needed, he found a way to go get a game-winning drive and go down there and get David Montgomery in a position. He got the ball to Josh Reynolds on all of those third downs to keep plays alive. So Jared Goff, to me, and this is going to be weekly, every single week, I'm going to sit up here and say how important Jared Goff is to this offense and this whole team. That is a fact. There's no one can say no about that. You can't look me dead in the eyes and try and say, no, Jared Goff's not the most important piece. He has his weapons. If he doesn't perform, the Detroit Lions lose unless that defense really takes over. And that's kind of how I look at it. And I did have the one that you had, I feel like is a...
Well, don't give mine away
I'm
yet.
not going to, but I just think the one that you had, that I had, that we both had, that sounded great. But I think that is number one, but I do think Jared Goff is that guy as well, to where you have to rely on him.
Isaac Lee in the chat reminded us, Goff is excellent at home. He wins at Ford Field.
Yes.
He wins at the Coliseum or their home field in L.A. He wins at home.
That's one thing, too, that off the rip already, like right off the bat, him on the road, people talked about that last year. Like, to start the year, struggled on the road. He didn't play great on the road. First game of the season, you win it at Arrowhead. So Jared Goff is the number one reason why the Detroit Lions will win this game Sunday.
I love that. I see Tyler saying Sam Laporta, Nicholas Duncan going Laporta. We see a couple Laportas. Josu Gonzalez, Penei Sewell. Actually, when you consider Taylor Decker being out, Penei Sewell just got that more important if Taylor Decker actually doesn't play.
That's a fair point, too. If you guys
think about that
offensive line, I saw the stat today. We should have brought it, but I saw a stat that said that he dropped back 37 times or 36 times, 0 pressures.
0.
I could be completely wrong on that.
It's not outrageous
unless
to
I got
think
butt
that.
crack sports like you did earlier today. But
say what?
Yeah, remember you sent something in the chat. It was a butt crack.
Oh, from Miles Bridges and Kevin Porter. Yeah, my bad.
Jesus.
He got butt crack sports today.
There were clowns out there.
Well, you're lucky I said that because that could have been bad. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I saw that he had 37 dropbacks and they didn't have any pressures on him, which sounds like a wild stat. But with that offensive line, I'm not shocked.
Exactly. So these are some good ones. I am going to tease you guys for a second. I'm going to let Booner tell you real quick about our Lions postgame. This postgame is actually awesome with Stick and Maz. I'll let Booner tell you, but I encourage you all to join.
Yes, the Detroit or Woodward Sports owned Tom Mazaway will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every single Lions game all season long. Look at Maz up there. Maz looks like he's ready to get after it.
Pop the collar.
Stick looks like a security guard back there. He would probably kill me. But tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for you. Hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You will not want to miss it. Maz, Stick, special guest, exclusively on the YouTube channel, Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
All right. Most impactful player on offense for me is going to be a player who wasn't utilized as much as we expected in game one. This is a weapon that we have at our disposal, at the Lions' disposal, I should say. Someone that can truly, truly change a game. And we thought we were going to see more of him in game one. Yep. But they held him back to give him a little a rookie experience, ease him into that game against Kansas City. I'm going with Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he could, without a doubt, impact this game from the jump. With his explosion on offense, whether he's playing slot, whether he's coming out of the backfield, catching out of the backfield, or rushing. We saw him on that very first run he had at the end. I think it was a 17-yard run, lowered his shoulder on safety Brian Cook. That's the type of mentality Jahmyr Gibbs has. And I know we don't want him taking hits all the time. He's our rookie weapon, but I think this is a matchup where the Seattle defensive line, they struggled in week one. That was part of the reason why Stafford had so much time to find Pukua and Tutu Atwell.
Yeah, and Booner.
And he passed for like 300 yards. You probably would have caught a pass on Seattle's defense. You think they still got weapons like Tariq Woolen back there. I know Quandre Diggs is out there. The one person I'm worried about is Bobby Wagner playing that outside linebacker position. But I still think Jahmyr Gibbs, having that asset out there on the field, maybe 5, 6, 7 more snaps that game. I would like to see 7, 8, 9 more, but if we get him 5, 6, 7 more snaps, I think he can totally change the game and change what we do on offense alongside David Montgomery and that offensive line who just pounds it.
Yeah, and that was the exact player that I had. That was my original pick, and you looked at me like, oh, Booner, you took Jahmyr Gibbs too, so I went Goff. But I agree. I think this is the week where we really see Jahmyr Gibbs take that. Like he was able to feel what the NFL was like. He went out there and averaged 6 yards a carry. And I know he didn't get a ton of carries, but he went out there and did that versus a great defense.
So true.
So you look at it now, he's about to get, I think he gets 15-plus touches. Maybe you might see him get 20, and they might really go at it with him, give him that chance to really showcase what he can do. He's definitely going to score this week. I'm probably on Friday we're going to do some bets. I might throw him in. That might be my last week I took David Montgomery. On the stream this week, I might go Jahmyr Gibbs.
Did you just tease Booner bets on our Friday show?
Yeah, we
Let's go.
Tease.
Booner bets might have.
Don't give him everything.
Yeah, maybe it's on Fridays.
Don't give him everything. Don't give him everything. But you do have to give them your most impactful defensive player on the Detroit Lions going against the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. Who you got?
We talked about him yesterday. The one, the only, C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Oh, ski mask.
The ski mask. He has been hyping everything up. And I had a realization today. And everyone in the chat, tell me if you guys realized this week and after that first week. He's the heart of this defense. Mm-hmm. He talks. He is the vocal leader of this defense. I know there's Hutch. I know there's Anzalone. I know there's, Kirby's out there.
Yeah.
Cam Sutton. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is the vocal leader of this defense. He is the heart of this defense that keeps it going. If he's not talking and he's not playing great, or he's hurt, or he's not on the field, you're going to see a little bit of a different defense, in my opinion, out there. With him on the field, he brings that edge. He gives Brian Branch that jump. He makes everyone around him that much better. C.J. Gardner-Johnson this week is going to be the most impactful defensive player on the Detroit Lions. I know I'm on the side here that Hutch gets 2 sacks. C.J. Gardner-Johnson gets an interception on Geno Smith.
I love that. And I happen to agree with you. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to get an interception, but I think it's because of someone Jeff Berg named in the chat, James Houston.
Oh, hell yeah!
Oh, that was phenomenal timing, Nick. Hell yeah. I think James Houston's going to have his 2023 breakout game here. We saw him do things in the Kansas City game. No one on the Lions defensive line filled up the stat sheet. Aiden Hutchinson had some QB hits. I think he had 3 and a few other guys had 1. But I think James Houston is going to get a couple here. When you think about backup tackles, regardless of what side it's on, I think his Ben coming in against, whether it's Jason Peters, who I don't believe will be playing by Sunday, or a backup Stone Forsythe, I think James Houston and his bend and his athleticism is gonna do some things on.
I'm pumped to see what James
Sunday.
Houston can do.
Yes.
I'm pumped. We saw him get to Patrick Mahomes and kind of like when your brother or someone, you're like your parents are leaving when you're a kid and you just snatch onto the legs and you're like, no, don't leave. That was James Houston on Patrick Mahomes on Sunday, and somehow Patrick Mahomes got the ball out and it was incomplete. But I'm pumped to see this defensive line. But I'm telling you, CJ Gardner-Johnson touchdown, another Booner Bets Friday, another tease there.
You gotta imagine he's gonna have all the energy inside of him come out, ooze through his veins on Sunday with all the ski masks and everything. Nick, I know you're itching to give your pick.
Yeah, no, for my defensive guy, it's going to be Jack Campbell for one sole reason. Wow. 7 rushes for 49 yards and a touchdown last year for Geno Smith. He is going to be the spy, I believe, in that defense that's following his eyes, moving with him the whole entire time. He's going to be able to lock him down. When it comes to my offensive guy,
Let him cook.
Atwell and Puka put up 119 yards each against the Seahawks defense. So I'm thinking it's going to be...
Congratulations, you just got Amon-Ra St. Clown.
You got St. Clown. St. Brown is going to absolutely eat against this defense. St. Brown's going to have a big day. It's going to be a key reason why the Lions pick up the win.
Nick's eating in the booth
Can I
right
throw
now.
a sportsbook thing real quick?
Yeah.
In FanDuel, Jack Campbell has better odds to win Rookie Defensive Player of the Year over Brian Branch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they must think Vegas must know something that they think Jack Campbell's going to start getting on the field more. Something I don't know. There's something that's fishy. I know Jalen does gambling as well and betting. When you see that, Vegas always knows, and so that's an interesting one.
Jalen, you want to give us your 2?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm gonna go with Montgomery for my offensive. I think
Love that.
he's loose now. Like he can do what he wants. Have an offensive line for him and stuff like that. Defense, I'm not picking Brian Branch for everybody in the comments. I'm gonna go with Kirby Joseph, man.
That's nice.
He's like the forgotten one now. It seems like we talked a lot about Chauncey and Brian Branch, but that's the same guy that made A-Rod lead the NFC. You know what I mean? So I think Kirby have a good game tomorrow too, or not tomorrow, this week on Sunday.